Hey, saltwater anglers, and welcome to the Lower Chesapeake Bay Fishing Report, your local report, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. This podcast is part of the Great Days Outdoors Network, and each week we'll be talking to local experts to learn ways we can become better anglers in our pursuits offshore, nearshore, and inshore. To keep this amazing fishery healthy and thriving for generations to come, remember to protect what you pursue. Summer fishing is fired up with warm water and hungry fish moving into the bay. So let's hear who's making this show possible, and then we'll jump into the reports. Check it out. AFTCO has a gift for our listeners. They're now offering a camo sunglasses cleaner cloth with any purchase of AFTCO products. For cool mornings, I love my Reaper sweatshirt. And on those hot days, my Samurai sun shirt. You just can't beat the quality and performance. All you got to do to get your coupon code is text LCBFR to 779-345-2918 to get subscribed to our email list, and we'll send you the promo code via email.
All right, you guys, welcome to the show this week. I'm excited to talk to this guy because he's one of those gems in the fishing community that has really dedicated himself to what the community is all about, which is making awesome memories that count. So I'd like to welcome back to the show Captain Mike Roby with Hooked on Hope. How we doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, Luke. Appreciate you having me again, man. It's been a good year so far.
Absolutely, man. It's my pleasure to have you on. You know, we caught up last year before this event, the 5th annual Hooked on Hope Spanish Mackerel Tournament, and you know, I know all about what you guys do, and I love it. But for our listeners, you know, we've got the 6th annual Hooked on Hope Spanish Mackerel Tournament that's about to happen. It's right around the corner. So give us a little rundown, just a high-level overview, and then we're going to switch gears to a fishing report, and then we're going to come back to it. So 30,000-foot view, what is Hooked on Hope, and what is the 6th annual Spanish Mackerel Tournament going to be all about?
Yeah, so man, first off, I can give you a quick little view of what Hooked on Hope does. We provide fishing and fun for pediatric cancer families. We do that through inshore fishing trips, do some camping trips in the fall and the winter. But yeah, man, we're just trying to get these pediatric cancer families a day to forget about clinic and the hospital stays, get them out on the water. We have some amazing captains that get them out there and they catch their own memories. But yeah, about the Spanish Mackerel Tournament, it's their 6th year doing this. It's open to the public, but my number one rule is you got to have a kid under 18 on the boat to participate. That is the most important rule. We're going to have 15 of our pediatric cancer families fishing in the tournament this year. That'll be the most we've ever had. Last year we had 14, so this year we got 15. Right now we're sitting at about 32 boats. That's the most we've ever had at this point. So last year we had 55 boats. I'm hoping we're going to get to that maybe 55, 60 mark. You never know. But the great thing is, like I said, all you got to do is have a kid under 18 on the boat. It's $250 to enter the tournament. We do an awesome party at Ballyhoo's. We give away cash prizes. We got some cool raffles. We got one of the best masters of ceremonies in our area, Captain Reese. He'll be out there doing Simon Says. So if you guys know, you know. So don't miss out on that because it's going to be a really, really good time. And I'm looking forward to seeing these kids bring their 3 biggest Spanish mackerel back to the weight scales at Ballyhoo's in Virginia Beach. And we're going to have a damn good time.
Yeah, Mike, it sounds like you got an all-star lineup. So you guys heard it. It's going to be killer. Great opportunity to fish, compete, and do it for one of the best causes you can, supporting families that are battling pediatric cancer. Give them an opportunity to get out, make a killer memory, and take a break from the challenges they face. So switching gears, one of your captains, who I think has won it several years, you got to go fishing with. Who was that, and what'd you guys do today?
Yeah, so Captain Eric Myers on Heads and Tails Charters. He's the reigning champ at the Spanish Mackerel Tournament. He won first place last year. He also had the most trips that we've had for our families last year. He won the little title belt that I gave him. I got another belt coming up. It's a little sneak peek. He's falling behind a little bit to Captain Josh Bourne on Wingman God Service. So they're having fun battling that out. But yeah, we went out and did a little fishing today. Today's my birthday, so we went out and did a little Cobia fishing. Took my son out there. We just had a little fun fishing trip. We caught a couple Cobia out there. Just out there, first, second island. Red drum, we're hitting out there. We had a little Menhaden, had a couple little crabs maybe. Then we headed over towards Cape Henry, and we rolled across a bunch of Cobia out there. You know, we had all the Cobia we wanted. We killed our 2, and you know I try not to do it too much, but today was a special day, and I shared it with a bunch of friends, and we left a lot of them out there for you guys. So right there on the ocean front, really right outside the mouth of the Lynnhaven Inlet. So it's not that far.
Wow. Man, that's great to hear, and happy birthday, man! Congratulations on a killer birthday, having an epic day fishing with Captain Eric on Heads and Tails.
Look, that guy, man, he's one of the best around, and like I said, I know a lot of awesome captains, but he's one of my favorites to just kind of fun fish with, man. We had a really good time.
He is great to fun fish with. And one of the cool things about Captain Eric, and we've had him on the show several times, and he just deployed the 27-foot skiff, but he's also got the 22-foot bay boat, and then of course the big 32-foot contender. So whatever your needs are, whether that's inshore, nearshore, wrecks, offshore, heads and tails can do it for you. Tell us a little bit more. So you went out there, you caught a couple of reds, a couple of cobias. Tell us a little bit about what were the sizes of the fish that you harvested, or what was the biggest fish you caught, and how'd you catch it?
Yeah, so we had our first two. I think we kept one that was like 47, then we had another one was about 50, and then our last one, my son actually pulled it in. We didn't keep that one. We didn't have like an official measuring tape because we only had 48 inches, but this thing was at least 54, 56 inches. The head on it was probably, I'm looking at your face right now, about a little bit bigger than your face on here, but it
Hey,
was
saying I have a big head.
look, it was one of those like logs that you see out there in the water.
Oh
It
yeah.
was it was really fun, and for me, it was exciting to see my son like reel on this and just have a good time. And we took some pictures, put it back safely, and we left it for somebody else out there to catch again.
That's awesome. And to kind of get an idea, I mean, most folks listening that have ever caught a cobia or can imagine, 55, 56-inch class cobia is going to fight really hard. How old's your son?
My son's 19 right now.
Okay. Okay. So I didn't know how old your son was. I was just curious if he was younger. I was going to say if he was under the age of 12 or 13, that would be a heck of a fight. But 19, I'm sure he's got all the muscles he needs to fight that thing in.
Look, we had actually a family go out yesterday, and they caught I think it was with Josh on Wingman, but they caught a like 47-inch Kobe, and it was a kid that was reeling it in. So
Oh,
we, we
wow.
we have kids that reel these in too.
And how was the visibility today? Were you guys able to see him and get a bait to him pretty easily, or were the
Oh,
conditions tough?
we could see them. We could see them from like a mile away. Like just seeing them coming to you. I mean, it's a little choppy out there, but you can see them in the cresting of the waves, and we saw them before they saw us most of the time.
Well, I know Captain Eric is a professional at this, and he's like calling into the support desk at, your local Bass Pro Shop or Long Bay Point Bait and Tackle in terms of, make models, line size, etc. So I'm gonna put you to the test. What were you guys fishing with? Talk me through the rod and reel setup, and then what was your main line and your leader and your hook?
Yeah, so we're actually using some of my rods today.
Uh,
I've had them for about a year, and I was like, "Look, Eric, I want to use these new ones." I had a forgive me on the rods, but it's like a Shimano 6000, really nice reel. I had a Charter Captain Special, about 30-pound leader on, or 30-pound braid, and then about 60-pound leader on there, just a little 5/0 hook, little menhaden.
wow.
Had a couple eels, and we tore them up. We broke them in good today.
So I want to go back a second. You said 5/0 hook. Was that a J or a circle hook?
I didn't bait them, but I'm thinking it was a J hook.
Okay, so that's interesting because most of the guys out there are typically using a 7, 8, or 9/0 hook. So with that 5/0 hook, I'm curious, like when you think about the taking the hook out, was it embedded past the barb, or were you kind of like just on the hook point?
No, all of our fish were easy to come off. They were right in the top of their mouth. Everything was good. We had perfect hook sets today,
Okay, that's awesome.
and it could
I
have been a
can't say
bigger
that
hook.
I
Like I said, I didn't put those hooks on there, but I mean they were definitely the ones we needed for today. But maybe
no, it's
maybe it was
cool.
bigger.
It's cool to hear because last year one time I was actually out fishing with my girlfriend. And she just had her birthday as well. So you July folks are living large this week.
That's right.
We were out there kind of in that little area between the NC and Cape Henry, and I was just testing out a 5/0 Gamakatsu J hook just for the heck of it because a buddy of mine was like, we've been having all these weird hook issues. Let's just try going smaller and see what happens. And sure enough, we landed a 52 or a 53-inch fish on a small hook. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh boy, we've got, 30-pound leader and a 5/0 hook. What's going to happen? But, they fought just fine and came to the boat. So, all right. Sounds like you guys had an awesome day fishing with Cap Merrick. I'm not surprised whatsoever. He always finds a way to put you on the fish. But switching gears back to the tournament. So, we kind of touched on it briefly. As much as you'd like to share, I'd kind of like for our listeners to understand the inspiration and the vision and how Hooked on Hope came to be, and why you're so passionate about it, and what the real purpose of it as folks get involved, what they're really supporting from a financial perspective.
Well, that's a great question. So my wife and I we have three kids. Our middle daughter, our youngest daughter, was diagnosed with leukemia when she was 2.5. So we went through all the chemo at CHKD and went through treatment. We had a lot of organizations give us an opportunity to do something fun. We were always super passionate about fishing. And I just made a post yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, but I still remember thinking, will people really want to go fish with us? And as of today, we've done 256 charters plus some camping events and since 2019.
Wow.
So I think I've answered my question that people really enjoy getting out there. But why we do it is to give back to our cancer community, just to give them something to look forward to other than a clinic stay or a hospital visit, just to give them a chance to be out on the water. And honestly, Luke, it's been more than I ever expected. We've created so many new friendships and relationships with our community and just introducing people to people. And it's really more than catching those fish out there and having a good time. But it's that's why we're passionate about it. We love giving back. We were right there. We understand what these families are going through, and
Yeah.
it's just really it's more than I ever expected.
That's amazing. And my heart goes out to you and anyone that's dealt with that. Losing a loved one to cancer of any type is kind of an impossible situation to go through. There's no how-to manual for that. And
That's
so
right.
the fact that you've created Hooked on Hope, you've created this sort of refuge or oasis for folks to be able to go out and just kind of put all of the stress and the anxiety and all the stuff aside for a minute and just go have fun together as a family is really special. So my hat's off to you, man.
Look, I appreciate it, and I have a lot of awesome people that make what we do possible, and I can't thank everybody that helps us enough. There's so many like volunteers and sponsors and captains that make us look good for what we're doing, and it's just a blessing, man.
That's awesome. Are there any sort of title sponsors or folks that you'd want to shout out or thank as we look forward to the 9th of August?
Oh yeah, so my main sponsor, our title sponsor for the Spanish Mackerel Tournament is Chartway Promise Foundation. They've been with us since day one. They're a main supporter. They come out and volunteer with us. They decorate our coolers for the trips. There's a lot of other organizations out there helping. I don't want to miss anybody, so I'm going to just keep it simple today. But Chartway Promise Foundation, I love you guys. You are a big reason why we're doing what we do.
That's awesome. So if folks are listening and they're like, man, this is not only a tournament that I want to participate in because I love Spanish mackerel fishing, but this is an organization that I can really get behind. What's the best way that they can contact you, get involved with Hooked on Hope, and of course get registered to fish the Hooked on Hope tournament August 9th?
Yes, I've been telling people lately the best way to see what we do as Hooked on Hope VB is to go to our Facebook pages or Instagram pages, Hooked on Hope VB. You'll see exactly what we're doing. It tells you right there. You will see these families catching memories. But as far as the tournament, if you want to register or sponsor, go to vbmackerel.com. You guys can always call me, Mike, 757-472-7212. But to register for the tournament, vbmackerel.com. And check us out on Facebook, Hooked on Hope VB. Instagram, same thing. You'll see exactly what we're doing.
That's awesome. Captain Mike, thanks so much for hopping on and sharing about your great day on the water. Happy birthday to you. And I think I speak for everyone that's going to be involved. We're excited about Hooked on Hope, 6th annual Spanish Mackerel Tournament, August 9th.
Yeah, so come over and join the party August 9th. You got a free pass. Come over and see me.
Oh, you say less, my guy. Say less. I learned that from all these, Gen Zers, the cool terms and whatnot. But great having you on the show, man. We look forward to it, and we'll have to have you on afterwards to talk about who won, who got the
That's right.
title, how big the biggest stringer was, and all that good stuff.
Look, these captains are going to have fun with it, but everybody wants to win that tournament. Even though it's just Spanish mackerel, they want to win this thing.
Absolutely. You got a bunch of competitive captains out there.
Look, I love it. It's a fun time. Luke, I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on again, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Absolutely. Folks, that's going to wrap up a great segment connecting with Captain Mike from Hooked on Hope. Y'all go check out the Facebook, the Instagram, go to SpanishMackerel.com. I might have butchered that, but we'll put it in the show notes for you. Stick around for a word from our great sponsors, bringing this free content to you each and every week, and we'll be back with you real soon.
Boaters know that the unexpected can happen anytime. That's why Sea-Tow offers 24/7 on-water assistance with priority service for members. Whether it's a dead battery, running out of fuel, or needing a tow, Sea-Tow's fleet is ready to help. Membership includes unlimited towing with no distance or dollar limits in your home area, fuel delivery, jump starts, and more. Plus, members receive exclusive discounts on fuel, electronics, dockage, and boat insurance. With over 500 ports nationwide, Sea-Tow has you covered wherever you boat. Join today at seatow.com and boat with confidence. Whether you're hitting the sand with set rigs using the traditional scent strips for pompano or fishing the flats or marshes for speckled trout, redfish, and flounder, Fish Bites has something for you. They're family owned and operated in St. Augustine, Florida, and pride themselves on making reliably consistent fishing products for anglers of all ages around the world. Fish Bites bait and lures are made with pride in the Sunshine State, USA. Check out the full line of scented saltwater and freshwater baits at fishbites.com. Upgrade your waterfront with Killer Doc's premium dock furniture, built to last a lifetime in marine conditions. Crafted from marine-grade aluminum with a protective anti-corrosion coating, it's tough enough to handle the elements while providing unmatched comfort. Featuring sunbrella cushions with fast-drying, removable covers, our furniture stays securely in place even in storms. Choose from cabanas, club chairs, love seats, tables, and more to create your perfect dockside retreat. Durability meets elegance at Killer Dock. Check out the full collection at killerdock.com today. Looking to protect your dock with materials built to last? Shoreline Plastics has you covered. As leaders in composite marine dock pilings and building materials, they engineer solutions that stand the test of time. Their EcoPile is the ultimate composite piling designed for longevity and eco-friendliness, ensuring your dock remains strong for years. And if you need a quick fix for worn pilings, try Snap Jacket, a durable solution that restores and extends their life. Visit shorelineplastics.com to discover how you can elevate your next marine project. Shoreline Plastics, where durability meets innovation. Sam Rust Seafood, your locally trusted source for premium wholesale seafood, servicing customers from Hampton Roads down through the Outer Banks, Richmond, and surrounding areas, including Fredericksburg, Charlottesville, and Lynchburg, for over 80 years. Committed to the highest standards in the industry, Sam Rust distributes the best of the ocean directly to your restaurant, hotel, or grocery store on time and at a great price. Visit samrust.com to discover how quality, tradition, and sustainability come together. So don't cuss, call Sam Rust. All right, guys, welcome to this second segment. It's not every day that you get to have friends come in from out of town and hang with you, fish with you. If anyone remembers the shows from last September and even the September before, Captain Matt Maldwin with the click-through of the Fathom offshore fishing team was in town, and we got to do some fishing in some crazy weather. Captain Austin Hain was on board. Captain Jake Bolts has been with us before. 68-foot Juan Cheese, or as Captain Matt says, it's all easy on the Juan Cheesy. But cool thing about Captain Matt has a son. His son's named Christian Maldwin, who runs a charter out of Pensacola Beach, Florida. Welcome to the show, Captain. How you doing tonight?
Just fine. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Well, cool thing about you and I's relationship now is since last fall, talking with your dad, we now have the opportunity to work together, which is pretty cool. But for our listeners, what was it like growing up with a dad as a professional charter captain?
It was interesting. Spent a lot of summers charter fishing with him. Then when he moved into private sport fishing, got to spend a lot of time with him in some exotic locations in Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, South America. It was a great experience. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
That's an incredible upbringing. And I think on Fathom's website, if you look at some of the plugs and whatnot, there's some pretty epic photos of you and some of your buddies holding up a crazy big Wahoo and some other stuff. Tell us one of your favorite experiences fishing with your dad. Fish, where you were, what went down.
Probably the most memorable experience with my dad was I think we had spent about a week in the Bahamas, traveling all through the lower Bahamas on the click through, and it was the last day before I was flying out. I believe it was Mayaguana, Bahamas was the exact island. And I was dog tired from fishing and spear fishing every day. I was sitting on the couch in the salon, and he was like, "Get up, let's get on the dinghy, let's go get some lobsters." And I was like, "Man, I'm too tired. I'm just gonna ride it out and fly out tomorrow." And pretty sure he grabbed a 5 hour energy and threw it at me and said, "Get up, you." And so I did.
Beep, beep,
Yeah.
beep. Yeah.
So I did. I got up. We jumped on the dinghy, went to this little horseshoe reef, ended up jumping in the water, and got me a 10 pound and a 12 pound lobster on that dive.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So two of my biggest lobsters. And yeah, all because he,
Through the 5 hour energy.
peer pressured me into going. Yeah.
I can tell you, spending some time around your dad, he's a really good, subtle peer pressure. Like the way that he applies peer pressure is real subtle, real gentle, but you just really don't feel like you have an option. Like Blue Marlin shots, for example. I don't know what's in them, but it was a blurry night, is all I can say. I didn't intend to drink more than one, but just the way he is, all of a sudden, we're two or three. It doesn't hurt that on the click through there's a tap for liquors in the salon, which is just, I mean, that's a lethal combination. But we should leave that alone because I'm sure there's some other stories there that need not be mentioned. But so you grew up with a dad who, he was a restaurateur, he was a chef, and then he became a professional captain and being raised that way, how old would you say you were when you realized that you shared a similar love and passion for fishing?
He did a really good job of instilling that in me in a young age. I think I was right around 2 when I caught my first speckled trout, and then he would take me fishing on a little bridge in a neighborhood in Gulf Breeze, Florida, before school sometimes, just pull off on the side of the road with some live shrimp, cast it in our little honey hole, and I was hooked from, longer than I can remember.
That's awesome, man. I mean, as somebody who grew up, didn't have that experience, kind of had to find fishing later in life, I really cherish that for you because it's such an amazing way to, from a young age get to, and we talked about this the other day, charter captains, people that fish, like your critical thinking skills, your critical problem solving skills, your planning skills is very remarkable. So to get that, start at 2, would you say that's kind of been a key to a lot of your success in life to this point is having that experience?
Yeah, I would think so. Absolutely. A lot of preparation and planning to make sure that you can get the outcome that you're looking for.
Yeah, it's kind of been
Absolutely.
the theme of this week. We won't get into it, but we've been in a leadership training all week called Human Performance Instruction by Cavu International. Been a really cool experience with guys like Monty Ashleman and Craig Yeager and Jeff. We're just going to call him Jeff G. I don't know how to pronounce that big long name. There's a T, a Z, an H, and some other stuff. But yeah, the continuous improvement cycle and the process of planning and communicating and then debriefing and then completing and reviewing is really kind of that key to success, and it really flows into charter fishing too. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of our experiences we had this past weekend fishing for cobia here in the lower Chesapeake Bay, which you don't have a ton of experience with. You have some experience with, and it's not because you don't target it. It's just because they aren't really around like they used to and used to be in Pensacola. So before we talk about what it was like fishing here, give our listeners just kind of like a snippet of what cobia fishing used to be like in Pensacola Beach and what it's like today.
Yeah. So my dad used to take me cobia fishing quite a bit during my younger years and up till about, let's say, 10 years ago. It's much different than the cobia fishing up here. Back home, we're riding up and down sandbars, right off the beach, pretty much going from west to east, then back east to west for us out of Pensacola Pass. Just, riding up and down the sandbar all day looking for ling. Back when I really started doing it with my dad when I was probably 7 years old. I remember one of the first times, I think he checked me out of school early because the conditions were just right. It was me, him and my uncle Bondo. We weren't too far from the pass, and I think we saw a big wad, had a double hookup. They made me catch both of them. I'm like 7, 8 years old. Yeah, I remember legitimately crying because my arms hurt so bad they wore me out that day. I was like, no moss, no moss.
For those listening, that's
Yeah.
Spanish for no more. Uh, so would you change it? Like going back in time, being 7, crying until your arms fell off? Would you have it any other way?
No, actually, I had a paper due that next week, I think, and that's what I wrote it on. It was pretty sweet. Gave me some great content.
That's awesome, man. What a cool
Yeah.
experience. And you guys typically use what kind of rod and reel setup down there?
It's all spinning rods. A lot of the guys use the Van Stalls now. We use Pin 706s back then
Mhm.
mostly. Yeah,
That's those bayless, right? The
yeah.
Vanstall bayless. Now, I feel every time I've picked one of those up, I feel like I have a handicap in terms of like connecting the dots of, why can't I get it to pick back up? Talk me through the process of like it's pretty easy to pick the line up off the bail
Hmm.
or the lack of bail or whatever that little thing is called
Right.
and cast, but it's picking it back up that I really have a hard time with. Maybe any tips or tricks on how to do that effectively?
Practice. Um,
Well, there you have it, folks.
it,
Suck less.
right. Suck less. Yeah, and the real advantage to the bailless is you can operate it one-handed, so you're not trying to flip the bail over with your other hand. So you, in like one motion, you can grab the rod, flip it up, flip it off, and cast. So
Ah, that's
yeah,
smart. And then typically you guys are using what, like 30-pound main line the whole way to the hook and then a circle hook, right?
correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I know your dad's caught some big ones. We talked about it, last fall when he was here. Cheers to our sponsor, Yingling Lager. There's nothing better than sitting back having a beer with your buddy and talking about some fishing stories. But tell us some of the biggest cobia that you've seen caught with your dad and the click through.
Hmm. Well, He has a 122 mounted in his house.
122 pounds.
Yeah. So
Jeez.
that's a big one that I get reminded of every time I go over to his house. But yeah, no, they've done really well. He's won a bunch of Cobia tournaments. You know, it wasn't odd to see, a 90 pounder back then. I mean, that's pretty much what it took, something close to 100 to win one of those tournaments.
Jolly.
Yeah.
And up here, anything over 50 pounds and you're often in the money. So you've obviously got some experience around some really big fish, around some really high quality expert fishermen. And then all of a sudden you come up here to the Lower Chesapeake Bay and hop on my little 26 Mako with me. We went out and fished for 2 days, well, almost 3 days in a row. What was that experience like? I mean, what were you expecting? And then just kind of talk us through what the experience was like looking for ling here in the Chesapeake Bay.
Well, I told you I was just along for the ride, happy to be out there, do some fun fishing. Honestly, I'd kind of forgotten what a cobia looked like. So it was great to remind myself. Yeah, super exciting. It started off slow for us, but that last day it really picked up and it got the itch back inside me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. That itch. It's like sometimes when it becomes out of sight, out of mind long enough, you kind of do forget about it and the desire really isn't as palpable. But then you have a couple of those, high intensity, exciting moments where they do pop and you get to watch one eat boat side, especially an artificial lure, which we happened to catch most of ours on that day was artificial lures. You're right, man. That itch comes firing right back up. In terms of like our fishery here and what you did see and the way that they did behave, anything unique or different here than, back home in terms of like how they eat or how they respond to a bait?
Yeah, well, pretty much all of our fish back home are migrating and we don't catch them off structure. So, they're all free swimming pretty much east to west, which most of our fish on Sunday came off of structure.
Hmm.
So obviously that's a lot different. Yeah, that's probably the biggest difference from what I'm used to. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was cool. You've been a professional charter captain now for how long?
4 or 5 years.
Yeah. And tell us the name of your charter down in Pensacola, Florida.
Bloodline fishing charters.
Bloodline.
It's all fine on the bloodline.
So you got your own catchphrase too. Your dad says it's all easy on the one cheesy and it's all fine on the bloodline. What kind of boat do you guys run?
It's a 39-foot venture, triple Yamaha 300s.
That's a big platform.
Yep, yep.
How far do you take that thing offshore?
As far as you want to go. Yeah. Farthest I've probably taken is 120 miles from port.
Wow. And what do you guys typically target on that rig?
Our bread and butter is bottom fishing, so red snapper, triggerfish, grouper, jacks, that kind of thing. But do a lot of deep dropping, do a lot of trolling,
Mhm.
just whatever you want to do.
Very cool. What's one of your most memorable catches on the bloodline?
The maiden voyage, actually.
Really?
Yeah, after I bought it, like any smart person would do, the maiden voyage was a trip to the rigs off of Louisiana. We start fishing about 85 miles, so
Mhm.
great way to break in the boat.
Just full send.
I'm being a little facetious here,
Right.
obviously.
Yeah.
It started off kind of a slow trip. We saw a nice weed line on the way out, but we just kept on chugging to the rigs, and it was kind of a slow trip. And on the way in, we kind of knew where that weed line was going to be. We're like, well, we got low time, but let's put some high speeders out, and troll this weed line for a few miles and see if we can't pick something up.
What's a high speeder?
A high speed trolling lure.
Okay.
Yeah, by Fathom offshore, of course.
Got it. Got it. And those are like the larger plugs with the big skirts and all that jazz, right?
Yes, sir, with either a 1 or 1.5 or 2 pound trolling lead in
Okay.
front of it.
So
Yep.
getting it down just a little bit below the
Yep.
surface.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Keep it from popping out because you're trolling anywhere from 15 to 20 miles an hour.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So, anyways, pulling back a little bit, put the speeders out, got up to trolling speed, was maybe in the water for a minute. And
Best sound on earth.
Yeah, we ended up catching, I think it was an 82-pound Wahoo. So that really, topped the box for our maiden voyage. Yep.
I mean, for a Wahoo, what would you say is I feel like the Wahoos I've ever seen like are 30 to 40 pounds. So is 82 like a really large Wahoo?
It's a respectable fish. Yeah, it's not one to take to the taxidermist, but definitely for a maiden voyage on your new boat, it was pretty sweet.
Dude, that's incredible. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that is, I guess, a little similar in terms of our fishery here and your fishery down there is some of the offshore practices, which, it sounds like you've got quite a bit of experience with. And I want to go back to our trip cobia fishing. So, offshore, you've got your mind and your eyes and your ears and even your nose tightly tuned to the smells, the tides, the tide lines, birds working. I kept noticing that you were picking up on things that I was just totally missing. You're like, hey, over there, it looks like that rip is starting to form up. And you're like, oh, looks like some birds are working over there. And you're like, oh, we're starting to see a little bit of life, in that direction. And, it's just stuff that I had kind of forgotten to pay attention to because I'm just in such a bay mindset. Where would you say that as a charter captain, how much credit or confidence, when you see those kinds of signs, does it change your thinking or change your direction, or is it just things that you notice?
It's just anything that piques my interest, seeing any sort of, I mean, we had 2 days that were really slow, right?
Hmm.
So, I'm looking for anything and everything that can just keep my attention and pique my interest and say, hey, there's life over there. There's probably some fish.
Right, right. And then we did something different. It was so slow, and we were just kind of moseying around, and we're talking about those windmills out there, and I mentioned the Chesapeake Light Tower and what it used to be, and I forget what happened in the conversation, but next thing we know, we got the nose pointed at the Chesapeake Light Tower. What was that like for you?
That was pretty cool. Anytime you pull up on structure, you never know what you're gonna see. So the opportunities are endless. So
Absolutely. Those
yeah.
kids were, I guess they were spearfishing for spadefish, it looked like. And then what happened with that one kid when he was screaming?
Yeah, it appeared he shot a barracuda, and the barracuda took off and looked like he might have been dragging him through the water, and he was screaming for help. He needed another gun, and everyone around fishing was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, his dad thought he was like drowning or
Yeah,
something. He's like, hey, if you yell for help, make sure you say gun, not I'm just need help. And he
yeah.
was like bolted, swam as fast as he could back to the boat to try to get back in. But that was definitely cool to see. It was also really neat just because it was so flat. It was just nice to be able to just like run out there and go check out the structure. And we saw a ton of giant spadefish, managed to catch a couple, which was really cool. And then chugging back in, we finally got lucky and popped upon some fish. What was it like seeing fish on structure when you hadn't seen them in so many years?
It was incredible. It was like I don't want to go home. That was for sure.
We did stay out there. I
Yeah.
think we killed our first fish at what, 6:30 at night?
Yep, yeah. Well, earlier in that day, we caught that one that we almost ran over.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
that broke the.
That was one out of a pair, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you saw that. You
Yeah.
rang the ling alarm.
Yep. Ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Yeah, so for those that are listening, if you're from, where would you say, south of the what, Carolinas maybe, or south of Georgia, we refer to cobia as ling. So it was funny because the first day we were fishing, you did see a cobia and you said ling, 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 ling. And I reacted so slow because my brain didn't process that you were seeing a cobia. So you're like, listen, Luke, when I ring the ling alarm, you pull those throttles back. And I was like, yes, sir, Captain. And that next day we saw him and you said ling, 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 and boom, pulled it back. And you put a bait on that thing in like 2 seconds, probably 1 second if it would have been a Bayless Van Stall, and yoked that one up. But man, that was just so fun to finally get some action. We probably saw how many cobias would you say in that little spurt there at the end?
Over 20. I mean, it got stupid. We were throwing baits out there and pulling them away from them because we're like, we don't want that one. We want that one. And recasting. That was a lot of fun.
We had a double up.
Yep.
And you were throwing, I think you had the no live bait needed.
Yep.
I think it's a 5.5 inch paddle tail. And I loved that one eat that you got right next to the boat because you saw the one you wanted to catch and you threw it out there and you jigged it, jigged it, jigged it. And he came all the way to the boat and he like, did he short strike it?
I think so. Yeah.
And then you like reacted perfectly and dropped it and then saw him eat.
Yep. Dropped it in free spool and he dogged down on it.
That
Yep.
was awesome. And
Yep. Flipped the bail and came tight. Zzz.
then crossed his
Yep.
eyeballs. That's awesome. Well, as we start to wrap up, I do want to share about one of my favorite parts about that trip, which was riding out of the inlet and putting her on plane, and we were rocking some badass tunes. What were we listening to?
Dick Jagger.
Dick Jagger. I mean, what what's Dick Jagger?
That's Captain Paul Redmond from Pensacola, Florida.
So he's a
Yep.
friend of yours.
Yep.
So I've listened to some of his songs. Springtime State of Mind comes to mind. He's got a bunch of killer songs, but what's unique about Dick Jagger and his content, what he sings about?
It's just all about fishing. Being from Pensacola, he just talks about us and our livelihood.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I think he mentions the click through,
Mhm.
formerly Data Man. He mentions the Bloodline, the Fathom Boys. It's just fun to listen to because he just goes at it. And it's like as you listen to some of the lyrics, it kind of like takes you into that moment where you can almost like feel like you're out there fishing.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of makes you bob your head a little bit
Oh
too.
yeah. It's good stuff.
Absolutely. So if folks that are listening, maybe they're planning a trip to Gulf Breeze or Pensacola, if they wanted to get hooked up on the Bloodline and go deep drop or pull some plugs with you, how would they get in touch with you to book a trip on Bloodline Charters?
You can go to our website, bloodlinefishingcharters.com, or you can give me a shout or a text at 850-565-0804.
All righty. Well, before we finish, I know your dad's going to hear this at some point. And Captain Matt's, living large down in the Bahamas right now. But do you have any funny stories about your dad where maybe he goofed up or did something a little embarrassing that you're at large to tell?
Oh, funny. He does a lot of funny stuff.
Any pranks that he played, or I can
Yeah.
tell you're thinking deeply.
Yeah, you really put me on the spot on this one.
Did he ever, you know, make you put your head in a bucket or push you off a dock or make you eat a
Yeah.
tuna heart?
One time we were white marlin fishing and I was laid out on the bench seat there at the leaning post. It was a slow day. I fell on asleep and I think he goes, right rigger, right rigger. So I jump up from a dead sleep, go to grab the pitch bait, and he is up in the tower with a bucket of ice water and dumped it on my head.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that's brutal. Just because he felt like doing it.
I've never wanted to fight my dad more in my life.
Did you?
No, I think I just gave him a hand gesture.
You're number one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Captain Christian, it's really been a treat to have you on the show and just get to pick your brain. And it was awesome just getting out there and fishing together and just enjoying God's great creation and showing you a little bit about the Lower Chesapeake Bay. Hopefully, we might be able to sneak out there tomorrow and put a big old ling on the deck. Hopefully,
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed. All right, man. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Folks, that's going to wrap up this week's show. Check them out, Bloodline Charters. If you're down in Pensacola, you will not have a bad time on the Bloodline. I think we just coined a new phrase.
Might as well.
Might as well. Y'all stick around for another word from our sponsors. We'll catch up with you next week. Y'all be safe out there. Tight lines. The days of heading out and blindly looking for good fishing areas are pretty much over. Don't waste time and money on fuel searching for fish. What you need are the most recent, highest resolution images to not only know where to go, but where not to go. The knowledge provided by today's technology is critical when planning an offshore fishing trip. So make the choice that captains all up and down the East Coast make and choose Hilton's Real-Time Navigator. The easy-to-use interface and excellent customer service will have you on the fish every time you go. Check them out at hiltonsoffshore.com. Hooked on fishing? Then you're part of the local community that Long Bay Point Bait and Tackle cares about serving and giving back to, providing you with the right selection for each season's target species. They're your one-stop shop to gear up with the best bait, tackle, and insider tips to catch your next trophy fish. You can fuel up right out front on the water and then chat with the crew inside for hot tips on where they're biting. So swing by today. Long Bay Point Bait and Tackle, where your fishing adventures start and finish with your trophy catch on their scales. All right, y'all, that's going to wrap it up this week. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember, to get your free APCO Camo Sunglasses Cleaner Cloth, text the acronym LCBFR to 779-345-2918 to get your promo code and be added to our email list so we can send you the new show each week. You guys keep on whacking them and be safe out there.